Are you wanting to improve your dating life? Maybe you've been going on dates and it's been really knocking you back because it's been tough meeting people, whether you're looking for a girl, whether you're looking for a guy or looking for a person, and it's just really exhausting work. Well, today I wanted to talk about 5 mistakes to avoid I've learned when dating. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra tip that you want to stick around for then as well. Over the years, I've had my ups and downs in dating. And I want to be clear, right? I'm not here to talk you through how to navigate like a 5 year marriage because I've not been in a 5 year marriage, or how to work through a divorce because I've not been in a divorce. I'm talking about my own experience through dating and when I've got to a place where I enjoy it a lot more, rather than me being so reliant on the outcome and feeling really bad when it's not worked out. It's taken a lot of work and I wanted to share it with you because I know a lot of people get impacted by this area. And the thing is with dating and relationships, as someone who talks about self-esteem and confidence and is always working on his own, I don't feel amazing all the time. I like to feel good the majority of the time, and I've worked on myself. I have my ups and downs as well. But as someone who's been in this area of self-esteem and confidence, for me personally, and speaking to other people, the number one area that people get impacted on the most in terms of their self-esteem, their self-love, when things come up to the surface, is this area of dating or intimate relationships. Definitely, because it really brings up maybe some of the challenges, the wounds that are within us. And I've been in this place where I was like, wow, I feel amazing. I'm so like confident. I met a girl I really liked, and then wow, there was a lot of work I needed to do on myself, right? So I'm really talking from a place where over many years I've gone on dates and sometimes it's not worked out. Maybe I didn't like her, not in a bad way, like kind of just like we weren't a match, or maybe it was a case of she wasn't into me, or maybe it was mutual, or maybe it's like actually we really got on and then it created something really good, right? So it's kind of from a variety of sources because I know how much, like I said, it can impact people on this. And yeah, like it has the, and what I always say, like whatever area of life, it's really important to emotionally work out every single day because you never know what's coming. And if you're not like working on your emotions every single day and then something out of nowhere knocks you, well, you're going to be unprepared for it emotionally. Well, things can always come in, but if you're emotionally working on yourself and then really working on your self-esteem and confidence every day, then when challenges come in, like maybe someone just suddenly says they're not interested in you when it's been going really well, it's always going to hurt, of course, but it's not going to impact you as much as it would if you don't work on yourself. So I want to give you some mistakes to avoid, though, that I've learned in dating, because when I talk to people, I hear this very, very frequently, right? Maybe you've just been caught in the same cycles of thinking the same patterns and attracting the same type of person in. Well, I wanted to talk through this as well. And again, it's always an area that I'm looking to evolve in. But this is what I want to share in terms of the mistakes to avoid so that you can really work on the relationship with yourself and then enjoy this area more. So number one is having done this, talks about self-esteem and confidence in general for many, for a fair few years since I started this podcast. And what I repeat a lot on these episodes, it's really clear. You've got to be really clear on what you want in dating. What is the kind of girl or guy or person that you want, right? Know what you want. What is that quality person for you? And both personality and looks. Don't be ashamed to be like, right, I want them to look like this or this kind of height. That's totally cool, right? Sometimes people are guilty of like, oh, I'm shallow if I want this kind of like height or looks. No. But I also think it's important, and I also think it's important to look at the personality personally, right? Because I've met, and been on dates with some very beautiful girls, and actually they weren't a match because personality wise we weren't a match, right? And that's totally fine, right? But looking at both, but what do you want in terms of looks and, well, physically and like in terms of personality wise? What is it you want? What are the absolute yeses for you? And what are the no's, right? I know for me, I love girls who've got like a growth attitude. They're really looking to progress. Not, they don't have to be like an entrepreneur, but if they want to be progressing in their career, they've got some kind of ambition. That's a really important one for me. And also they're communicative. They're not going to be like leaving me quiet for days and days all the time, right? That's really important to me. I know that's what's really, that's a really important thing to me. You've got to know what it is for you, right? Know what you want in terms of what you're looking for. And in terms of dating in general, are you looking just to go on dates and then have fun and chat and stuff? Or are you looking for something serious? Be very honest with yourself what you're looking for and don't apologize for it. Second, know your boundaries. This is a key one I've learned. I used to have like really minimal boundaries. Now I'm like probably the opposite, a bit too like lean, and I'm very like clear when someone's done something it doesn't happen too much, but someone's done something disrespectful, even if it's not going to work out, which is totally cool, by the way. If I find something disrespectful, I'm speaking up because my boundaries are so strong, and that's an act of self-love. So know your boundaries, like, and this could be in like communication. It could be like, right, if someone's going to like criticize or say something they don't like, that's totally cool. But if they're like aggressive, if they're rude, disrespectful, that's a no for me, right? So you've got to write down your boundaries as well, what you want. Like for me, communication, going back to communication, these first 2 points kind of tie together a little bit, but write them down as two separate lists. But knowing your boundaries, right? And I've learned over time, because I used to put up with things and I'd be like, actually, that really impacts me and I need to add that to my boundaries, right? And there's probably going to be things in the future I'll be like, actually, that's really important to me, right? Right, but what is a boundary for you? I know for me, communication is key. And I realized I actually have, by the way, what you're looking for and your boundaries is what you got to live yourself as well. Because if you're like, I want this, but you're not living it, well, how do you expect to attract it, right? And it's, you're going to catch yourself, you're going to make mistakes. But if you aim to live the qualities that you're looking for the majority of the time, then that really, really helps. And that fills me personally with a lot of integrity. So know your boundaries, right? I diverted a little bit there, but this is the second point. So for me, like one of them is like kindness. Like that's really important. I like rudeness. No. And actually, I can't even think of, because I've had that in place, I can't even think of a time I've attracted a girl who's rude, because I was very clear of that. So I've done that unintentionally correct for myself. So like for me, if I don't think I would, because my boundaries are so strong, but I know rudeness would be like an absolute no. But also like there's the kind of the grey area, like maybe that's all right, maybe it's not, but you've got to be very clear. One of them for me has been communication, and I've not done it myself very well in the past, so I had to learn to do it myself in person and then in text. So in person, I want to have a genuine conversation as much as possible. Sometimes in the past, I've been hiding things about me. Not like being a pathological liar or anything like that, but sometimes I wanted to express something and I didn't. But what I really value in communication is, like, although I like to lead and give direction, is I like honesty as much as possible. I don't like I in general in life, I'm like the kind of person who would rather be like criticize in a kind way than just like someone be like, oh, that's really good, oh, you're really nice, that kind of thing. I like complete honesty, and that's what I appreciate. But then outside of just conversations and then authenticity and a girl looking at herself, like that's really valuable in communication. But a boundary for me is like the messaging outside of when you're not together in person, right? For me, a hell no is someone who takes days to always respond to like a message, because nobody's too busy to spend 10 seconds to 30 seconds to reply to a message. I'm sorry. If you want to communicate to someone, it's going to take you 10 to 30 seconds, maybe a bit longer if it's like a really thoughtful message, and that's going to take you like, somewhere between 1 and 5 minutes, right? Of course, right? If you're really thinking, but in those scenarios, I'd probably rather just ring the person. But anyway, like for me, I know that like someone is like, oh yeah, it's been really busy, haven't got back to your message yet, and they do that again and again. Maybe once so often, that's okay because they might be away for a retreat, something bad may have happened. You never know, right? So if it's a one-off for me, I always don't jump to conclusions or anything like that. It's like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Being a little bit quiet, having those conversations. But a boundary for me is like constant slow response is like a no, because that's, I like to see the person, but like that's a no for me. I won't go on about that one anymore, but that could be yours as well. The third thing, write a list next, this is the third one, what you love about you, and then just write it down, because when you can reflect on that list and your own greatness, you can feel it more and more, right? Just write it and then read it every single day. This fourth one is, actually I'm gonna change these around. Right, okay, the fourth one is live your truth. Living your truth and being who you are. This is easier said than done. Like life, right? Because you may feel like really confident who you are, like you're alone, you're feeling good, and then actually you meet someone and you're like a little bit fearful, oh, what if I tell them this and they don't like me? Well, they're probably not the right person for you, whether it's a romantic sort of sense, dating, or something much deeper into the dating stage, or it's just like a friend or someone you've met. If someone doesn't resonate in my truth, fine. Like in the past, I used to be like a little bit not want to share. When I was years ago, when I started up a YouTube channel, like I had a YouTube channel, I was like, oh, what if they look at me a video? Now I'm just like, yeah, I got a podcast. Like, go check it out. Subscribe. No, I'm not really like that. But anyway, I might drop it in conversations admittedly, but only if the conversation is going that way. But you got to live your truth and who you are. I love podcasting. That's who I am, right? Live your truth as much as possible. And that comes back to the what you love about you list, like living it. And you've got to make an intention. Make an intention before you go and meet someone in a dating world, right? That's really important. Just make the intention that you're going to be truthful and live through your truth. If you're not 100% correct all the time, that's totally cool. But just coming back to that intention is really helpful. And then the fifth one is an interesting one. And that's why I've left it last. I was going to say it fourth, but I'm going to say it fifth now. And then, of course, I've got an extra bonus one. But these are the main five. So the fifth one is it's always good to be like optimistic and excited rather than being negative, because that creates a different kind of energy and people pick up on energy, right? But don't get carried away or have too much importance at the early stages, I'm going to say. I've known examples of friends recently. They're like, I'm really excited about meeting this person. I hope it works out. And then like they didn't show up, or it just didn't happen, or it just didn't click. It's like, well, calm down. Now, sometimes that can create excitement, and that's a good feeling, right? It's good to be excited about things. But what I've learned is not to do what you can, be you, make the effort, but don't attach importance to dating someone. Why don't you attach importance? A priority and importance are two different things. If like meeting someone's a priority for you, great, go for it. Go out and start dating, right? Amazing, right? But importance is different. Importance is when you're like, right, it's got to happen, it's got to happen, it's got to happen. Because what happens then, and I've been in this many times, is fear starts coming in. Oh my God, what if it don't work out? All these kind of things. I've had so many negative thoughts about like if it's going to work out or not over the years. And when like I unattach that, things start working out quite well, and I just like forget about it. So just focus on what you want, being you, and then taking the effort, right? Without putting too much importance in fear, because fear is an energy that people pick up on. You get really in your head and then not so much out of your heart, and then the other person's going to feel that, right? And if they're not the right person, they're not the right person. So that's the final point I wanted to share with you on dating as well. So it's like, you know what you want, you're going for it, but don't create importance like something has to happen, right? Because if they're not the right person, they're not the right person, right? Okay, my final point for you today, the bonus one, is Dive into your wounds. When you notice like certain wounds or triggers come up, sit with it. Be like, that's interesting, right? That person said this in text or in person and I got triggered. Write it down every single time and then dive into it. I found being aware of my wounds and diving into them has been really, really effective for me and a really powerful tool in terms of me moving forward. So diving into your wounds is one I'd highly recommend as well. So that's what I got for you today. I really appreciate you for being here and listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as a listener. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.